Alright everyone, welcome back to the almighty power session. Hello my buddies, I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of the power session. I don't know if you know what this is, but it's something I did a pretty while back ago. I'm just going to kind of quickly cover what it was. It was something where I, myself, talk about, have a nice little sit down and kind of talk about something. You know, something that's been on my mind, something that may have just happened that kind of got split on my mind. But usually these things are pretty, I would say, sporadic. I really don't have a schedule for these to upload because I kind of just think of them and start like thinking and thinking and thinking, and then I want to do it. So then the last one, if you haven't seen it, I'll probably try to put a link somewhere. It was about depression, and this one's kind of a maybe a little spin-off. I don't know, kind of something close to that. Hopefully I don't sound, the reason I haven't been uploading is because I've been sick and then I had finals. So if I sound a little bit different, please bear with me. I tried to hold out as long as I could before I would start recording again, but I think today I feel kind of well enough to do it. So let's get into the topic. Now you may have noticed by the title it's usually power system whatever, but the title is going to probably be something along the lines how video games saved my life. Now, the reason this kind of got me thinking and what I started thinking about is because, you know, there's been so many things in the news about like dying and stuff like that, and like, you know, with the whole end of the world thing, which is coincidentally today. I don't know, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and today, and I haven't been able to sleep. Maybe it's kind of weird, but I've been able to sleep. So, and I was thinking about this, kept thinking about it, and usually when I did the first one, I did it around this time because I couldn't sleep either, and I was like, I couldn't get it off my mind, so I started thinking about it, and that's why I did the commentary. So this would be another one kind of a thing, but with the whole events on the news, you know, the whole school shooting with the Sandy Hook children and whatnot, you know, my prayers go out to them and all their families that were involved. But they were talking, there was a thing about gun control and stuff like that, and that wasn't what I was talking about. But with you know, how video games, they were talking about how video games made kids violent. Ooh, this, you know, the very sort of thing they use as a scapegoat to blame violence and onto the public, you know, onto kids. Why this happened? No one really knows why it happened. The kid probably had some mental health issues that he was probably dealing with. That's what my guess would be. But really, you couldn't. They were blaming it, and now there's this new sort of push again, like there always is with something like this that happens. And so I started thinking, well, how has video games changed me? I mean, I played a lot of the games I played like that he played too. So I mean, I was like, does that make me crazy? You know, would I do something like that? I don't think I would even. I wouldn't have the heart to do anything like that. Honestly, I couldn't even hurt anybody. I'm more of that kind of guy who's kind of a little tough guy, but not really kind of tough guy who's kind of like a really warm heart on the inside. I'm that kind of guy. War machine deployed. Now, as I was gonna get into this, so they were talking about it, and I was like, man, so what's really changed? What is, like, when I play video games, what do I think of? Like, I think of, you know, well, a lot of the times it's just me goofing off, you know, but when I was going through the whole depression stage, you know, I don't know if you can see that video was pretty, it was kind of pretty, I don't know, you can really tell that I was kind of, you know, down in the dumps. To me, I could, because I usually don't talk like the way I talked in that video, but in that specific video, I was kind of really down, and I was just, you know, I didn't sound like myself, and I didn't feel like myself at that time. And usually at that time, I was really busy, and there was a lot of things going on, and when I eventually started, you know, I never went to therapy, but I was actually diagnosed as, you know, had depression. I was taking medication for it. And honestly, it never really helped me, and I would never feel any different. They're supposed to be they're supposed to make you feel better, and I'm not I'm not very young, so I'm 18, which I guess you consider young, but I'm not some, like, you know, little kid that complains about being scared or something like that. I'm actually an adult, so I mean, I'm not being a baby or anything. It's just I was actually felt like that. And what had happened was, like, there were so many things going on. There was a lot of death in my family, and then my brother, he had became mentally ill, and my older brother, he's older than me, he's someone I always looked up to, and when that happened, it just kind of, you know, it made me feel sad, but that was the whole reason that happened. But when I started, when I got to school and everything, I just, it never helped me. I just felt even worse and worse. And eventually, I would start thinking about, things that, because my brother, he would put stuff like, suicide and stuff like that in his head. And I don't know, it got to me too. So I would think about stuff like that. I don't know if everybody does that, but haven't you ever thought about what would what would happen if you were to die? You would obviously, your family would be sad, but maybe it's kind of a morbid thing to think about. But what would happen if you were to die? And I would think about stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't full on suicide, but it was a lot of morbid thoughts that were going through my head. Now I wouldn't say I would go to the certain extent of killing myself, because when I would think about why I would do it and what would happen if I did, I would think, well, it's not really doing anything. It's not going to solve anything, because when I see my family and I tell them that, well, I mean, I wouldn't tell them anything because I'd be dead, but I would see it's not going to do anything because my brother's still going to be sick, and I think it'd be worse because at that specific time when I was thinking about all these things, he was really bad. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and if anyone has dealt with that, they would know what I'd be talking about. And so, when he was going through that times, it was my mom and my little brother. They were the ones who were, would be there without me. If I wasn't there, if he were to decide to, run out the house, and which he's tried to before, but now he's a lot better. So I mean, I wouldn't say he would do it now, but in the past he would try to run out the house, or he would try to hurt himself. Who would stop him? My mom wouldn't have the strength, because he's 20, he's in his 20s, he's 20 years old. My mom's nowhere near his size. Or my little brother's only 14. And I would think about, well, then that would just be terrible. I would feel worse about that than, leaving my family because of, because of that whole incident of me, dying. I'd feel worse about leaving my family without myself. I know it sounds kind of selfish, but I would feel worse about leaving them there without anybody to help them. So I thought about that. So I kind of had that in the back of my head, and now you're wondering, well, how does that really even solve anything? And I was like, I don't know how it solves anything. And I did the same thing I used to do when I was a kid, or well, I still do now. But I mean, I played video games and doing the commentaries and making them live let's plays. And I don't know if any of you if some of you may have seen that, but you could tell like I had a lot of fun doing that. I really truly enjoyed making videos and playing games. It was fun. And the whole reason I had started the channel was because that's why. It's because I wanted a distraction. I wanted something to do that was fun. The whole channel was based off for something as me as an outlet to do. Because, I tried other things, good or bad, and I'm not going to go into detail about that. But it just didn't cut it. I mean, I took medication, I did all that. Tried some other things that I'm not proud of doing. But it just didn't help. So when I was doing that whole thing about what if I end my life and stuff like that.
He's gone.
Why? Well, I mean, video games were the only thing that really helped me. I played, and I would play, and it was fun. And then when I would go to do something that had to do like homework, it wouldn't be as bad. I would feel a lot better because I had to sort of release. Because video games really just kind of lets you go. You don't really give a shit. Sorry for my language, but you just don't give a shit. I mean, you can have all the kids that talk shit on COD and whatever game I play, StarCraft, League of Legends, they talk shit all over the place. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That doesn't make a difference to me. It don't matter. I like to talk shit too because I find it funny to make people mad because maybe they're not truly mad. It's just kind of a joke. I think of it as a joke. You're dicking around with people. Some people like that too. I don't know. But I figured that stuff like that, it's just kind of a video games. They truly did help me get through my stage of depression because they sort of, like I said, they just gave it away. They took it away. I know it doesn't make too much sense to some people who don't really, you know, understand. Maybe some people will. I don't know how many people are gonna be in my position really, but it was just kind of one of those things that you kind of just do, and it just, you know, it just went away. Eventually, my brother got better, and you know that one helped with it too. But you know, video games, I don't really see how all these bans and stuff they talk about on the news and shit. Like, I don't know. To me, I mean, well, what happened if we didn't have video games? I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that it's helped. I'm sure there's probably more people that it's helped. But really, I mean, video games have, you know, done it. I think they really did. I know people say, hey, you play video games way too much. I think it's just a way for me to feel better. And I think if you haven't played video games, or if you feel like you're just too stressed out, I felt like that too. And maybe you should just stop. You know, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. I mean, it's really 30 minutes. I honestly don't play a crazy amount. I mean, maybe now I do have a lot more free time because school, my semester's over. But during the semester, I would just play probably during the weekends, and for me, that was enough to, you know, have that sort of release of just random bullshit. Because I would just, on the weekends, man, the weekends were me sitting on this couch right now that I'm sitting on, and just sitting in front of the TV and playing some damn video games, and recording and having fun. And, you know, I really thank you guys for listening. Hope this was some sort of insight into how video games really sort of saved my life, because I really do think they did. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have video games. I think I'd still be sounding like the way I did when I made that first video, where I'd sound like some guy who just got kicked in the balls, who's down. But I really don't feel like that anymore, and I think you shouldn't feel like that either. So, you know, thank you guys for watching. Hope this was some sort of insight, and thank you again for another power session. So, peace out, my buddies. Stay strong.